Hi everyone. Hi Teresa. Hi Casey. Sorry. I was trying to get my design space on the right screen. And I still don't think I have it on the right screen to show you what we're gonna do. So, take out my mat. We're gonna do reverse canvas tonight. Just waiting for some more people to come on. Hi Genevieve. I'm a little getting there. We're hopefully on the mend. Thank you Casey. So I'll just wait for a few more people to hop on. Hey Juanita, haven't seen you in a while. How you doing? We are going to be doing reverse canvas tonight. So I know you guys, for the most part, that come on know me, but my name is Kathy and I'm from Santa Marta Designs. So let me just look up and wave. And I've got the messy hair going on. I've got the sweatshirt look going on. So it is what it is tonight. The craft fair was not as well, didn't go as well as I thought it was going to go. But I also found out that it wasn't as well advertised as it probably should have been, because a lot of the people that I spoke to, so if anyone doesn't know, I did a craft show locally here, which they came down to New Bedford for the first time, and everyone that I spoke to had no idea that there was going to be a downtown market that day. So it was really unfortunate. So I don't think the crowd of people that I was looking for knew that the market was going on. So maybe when we go back up to Somerset at the beginning of July, maybe it will be better, because most of the people in Somerset are used to the shows being there. And the New Bedford site is a new thing this year. So we shall see. I've committed to the whole season, which goes through October. So hoping it gets better. I did let everyone know that I spoke to that day that, that was going to be a once a month thing through October. So hopefully they know now. So, all right, anyways, so I'm Kathy from Santa Marta Designs. I get kind of like ADD with doing the same thing all the time, so no wreath tonight. I still have that purple, black, and white wreath to do, and I just haven't brought myself to be able to do it yet, because I just need something else to do. So, and you know me, my Gatorade, oh geez, just spilling things everywhere. So, in order to not keep you guys on for 2 hours tonight, just because I wanted things to be able to dry, and for the most part I typically would use chalk paint, but for this project I wanted to stain. So I did already stain one of the frames, but we're going to go through the whole process just so that if anybody hasn't seen this, then you can go ahead and see this. Oh, and I'm missing comments because my feed has stopped scrolling. So give me 1 second and I'll get you guys back up in live so that I can see what the questions are. Hang on, here we go. Ooh, just turn that volume right down. Hey Cecilia. All right. Oh, thank you. He's good. So my son is good. My son is good. Yeah, I found, there is definitely a different crowd at the craft shows, and that's what we made some different products to cater to them, and I think I'm still going to have to tweak that. So thank you. All right, so let's get started. So I have my Cricut on. I have the, I think it's an Explore Air, not 2. Yeah, it's Explore Air. I have in this corner here, I feel like I'm in a boxing match. In this corner here, we have our Cricut, God, I'm just drawing a blank. My little iron guy. So, my heat press. Thank you. My memory is going. Hi Mel, how are you? So I've got my heat press here. Actually, I should turn this puppy on. I call everything a puppy or this guy or whatever, so hopefully I'm not offending anyone, but come on. So I'm going to turn this guy on to 3... let's do 335. I was going to say 340 at 330 at 340. I'll go in between 335. And all right, so before we do the canvas, what I'm going to do is do the design space stuff first. And so I already did do a design for you guys to show you of what I'm going to do. But before we do that, in order to tell you how big you need it, so this is a canvas. So basically you can get this at any craft shop, and basically this is the type of canvas that people would normally paint on, okay? But you can use this for different projects. So when you flip this puppy over, there is a piece of wood that frames this canvas, all right? And it's lined with like 1001 staples, all right? So you can get this different sizes. This is an 8x10, and I got this in like a super value pack. I'll show you. Oh, goodness. I just had visions of me possibly falling out of my chair like Amanda told us about. So it came in like the super duper value pack, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it came with like 10 of them, and I probably got it for like $10. Or even cheaper. I got it a while ago, so I don't even remember. And I didn't even get it with the intention of doing reverse canvases. I was actually doing some different wall designs and decor at that time, but I have stepped away from that and haven't been using them. So I said, oh, hey, why don't we do a reverse canvas? Because I haven't done one really on a live. I mean, I've tried them, but I haven't really done them on a live at all yet. So we're going to take this one. This one's an 8x10, and 8x10 measured is the normal front of the canvas, like you would when you were painting it. So this is 8x10, okay? But what we're really going to work with is the inside measurements of the frame, okay? So I'm going to try and get you guys just a wee bit closer. So that way, my webcam for some reason has been super slow to be able to get me to zoom in. Goodness, it's like asking for an act of Congress. Hold on, I know you guys are a little off, but it's like oh, hello. Hold on. So we're gonna just fix the tilt slightly, and we're probably gonna turn that light down a little bit so it's not so bright. Okay, so that's a little bit closer for you guys to be able to see. All right, so see how it's lined with staples in the back? All right, so what we want to do is measure the inside of your wooden frame, okay? Hi, Judy. Okay. Hey, Stephanie. So I'm going to take my ruler, and basically from the inside to the inside, I've got 5 3/4 going this way. And then I've got about 7 3/4 going the long way, the height of the frame. And actually you could turn it, I'm going to use it this way, the tall way, but you could turn it going this way, it doesn't matter. Just depends on what what design you're doing, really. You could use it going either way. So I want to stay smaller than 5 3/4 and 7 3/4. So what I'm going to use is the measurement of 5 by 7 as my design space thing. So I'm just going to put that aside for a second, and I'm going to show you the design we're making. Hopefully this works because I haven't done it in so long. Let's see if this even works. Nope, it didn't work. Okay, why not? Come on. Oh, wait, because I moved, hold on. I moved my design space to the wrong screen. See, I told you I didn't know if I had it on the right screen. Alright, let's see. I'm like, why can't I still see my comments? Well, because I had it on the wrong darn screen. Alright, so hopefully you guys can see that now. Alright. I'm trying as hard as Hector to get something else moved over so I can see both screens. Here we go, we're in business. Alright, so I just need to minimize this a little bit because when I share my screen via the webcam, some of the stuff gets cut off for you guys to be able to see. Alright, now I think we're in business. So basically I'm working with this design. I had this SVG file that was a nautical knot with, I shouldn't say a knot, but it was a nautical rope wrapped around an anchor, and the anchor was split with something that you could put writing in the middle. And then I added words. So the words I added were Dartmouth because that's where I'm from. And I'm looking at the camera like you guys can see me, but I'm on screen share. So then I added in the words Naughty Beach. Okay. So now I just want to make sure that I'm within 5 by 7, and I'm not. So I just want to shrink this down. And I think I'm locked, so let me unlock that. And we're just going to shrink down the properties. I'm going to shrink that down a little bit more just so that the we keep the proportions pretty good. Alright, so that's what I'm going to work with. Okay, so I basically grouped everything together. And let's just check that it's definitely grouped. We're going to hit save on that. And then we are going to click make it. Oh yeah, it didn't group right. So let's go back and weld it. Oh, I should have just checked on the right hand side. I didn't even notice. So let's just go back and highlight the whole thing. Even though it's grouped, we're going to go ahead and say weld because I don't want to make any further changes. You always want to make sure that you are done with your changes before you weld, because once you weld, it's like undoable. So now we're going to hit save. And now, and I'm definitely actually, in this I'm going to make into a shirt. Okay, can you go away there, guy? Here we go. Make it. So what we have to be careful of, so now it's all on one piece here. So what we have to be careful of is we're going to be doing iron on. So, and I always start talking too much and I forget to click the button. So I'm going to tell you right now before I forget. Click the darn mirror button. When you're working with iron on, click the mirror button because this has a built-in transfer tape when you're working with iron-on. Because we're using iron-on because it's canvas, it's a material, fabric type material, so we're just going to use that. So our measurements are just hitting like 5 inches by 6. So we're just going to cut, say 6 by 7. So 6 by 7, I probably should write that down. 6 by 7. Hold on, I'm just going to mark that off. 6 by 7. 6 by 7. And then I'll show you guys what I'm doing in 2 seconds. So, all right. So we're going to click continue in 2 seconds, but I'm going to stop screen sharing just so that you guys can see. All right. So hopefully that stop screen share works. And you guys will come on over here in just a hot minute. Ta-da. Ah, there you go. All right, there you are. Hello. So I've got my iron-on material. This is everyday iron-on. And I should have just wiped this down a little bit before I put this on. That's all right. We'll wipe it again. So I've got my 6 inches wide going this way. All right. Now I thought about cutting this out before we got on, but I was like, you know what? I think some people just haven't even seen this part, which is pretty easy, but sometimes nicer to watch a couple of times over, because I hear a lot of times people are very intimidated by their Cricut. It's still in the box and it's been in there for a year. So I've been there, done that, had my Cricut in a box for a year because I was like, oh, I don't know, there's going to be so much to learn, I don't know how to use it. But let me tell you, once I actually just unboxed it and watched a couple of tutorials like I'm doing, then I was like, all right, I'm going for it. Let's try it. So I'm just going to cut this out, and I'm going to cut it out this way because this guy is rolling up on me. Some people just cut right across the whole entire sheet and then will peel up the rest of it when they're done and cut it off when they're done, but I just kind of like to leave it on my roll because what if there's a piece that I could use this from here to here, and then if I had cut it, I'd have to find a different project to use for that other scrap. Okay, so we're going to put this HTV aside. So this is everyday iron-on again. So I'm just going to, oh, hello, there's a piece of tape on there. That's where it went. That's where the tape went. Hi, Linda. How's it going? Oh, Linda, I was just saying the show was not so, you know. Okay, stop that. It wasn't as well, it didn't go as well as I had hoped it was going to go. So, you know, well, better luck next time. So, shiny side down when we're working with Cricut Iron-On, or we're working with any iron-on really. So this is a standard grip mat. Some people like to use the light grip mat when they're using iron-on. And I just need to always stand when I'm lining my stuff up because I'm short. And that's what happens with short people. So I just want to check the sizing and make sure I got it the right size. Yeah. Oh. And the hardest part is always just lining this up to make sure. Nope. I just touched something wet. Hold on. It's probably from the water or the Gatorade. Who knows? Alright, so if you don't have one of these guys, where is it? Here it is. These little squeegee guys. A ton of companies sell them, so I would invest in one just to kind of get your material down. Okay, so, oh, set on my shoe. Oh. we're going to put that in our Cricut, and we're going to set this to iron on. You guys don't really need to watch this part. And then all I'm going to do in the design space is click continue. Oh, it says Air 3 when I connect. Huh. Maybe I have an Air 3. I just didn't want to lie to you guys. Alright, so it's telling me I set my materials to iron on, make sure I have my stuff loaded. I do. And so now I just hit my arrows. Yes, yes, yes. And press the little Cricut C, and it's going to start cutting for us. Alright, so while that's cutting, so I don't have a maker because I think on the makers you can set like a fast mode to cut. So that's why I wanted to get that going while we do this part. So this is the cool fun part. So I have this razor blade X-Acto knife, okay? And I know, Linda, right? I know it's kind of sad, but you know what? We'll figure out, we'll retweak the products to sell at the shows, and you know what? Lesson learned, another lesson learned, that's all. So a lot of people like to go in, or some of the tutorials that you may see might say, oh, well, you just need to pull all these staples out. Please save yourself some time. Don't pull the staples out, because you know why? This is going to be your backside again. So these staples are not going to hurt anybody. They're not going to hurt your project. So don't waste the time and effort in pulling all these staples out. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 staples just on this 8x10. Don't do it. Okay, so take some kind of knife. I use this X-Acto knife. This is a good sharp one. You want something sharp. And what you're going to do is come to the outside of these staples. So the inside would be the way, towards the inner part of your canvas. Come to the outside, and you're going to run, press down to cut right through the canvas. You're going to go right up against those staples on the outside and cut your canvas, okay? Now again, I'm just doing this one to show you, but I actually already have one taken off, all right? But this is just so you can see what I would do. So I got down to this one staple, and I'm going to keep going all the way around to all 4 sides, and then I'll show you what I do on the corners, because they're a little bit different. And I guess it just all depends on the kind of canvas you buy and how they've put it together. So some may not have like a corner staple up that high that you can kind of get around easily. This one had a corner staple up pretty high. So I think I'm back to the other side already. Yep, so I'm already back to the other side. So if you start pulling this up with your knife, it should come up. Now sometimes, see how I got really close to the staple, it didn't go through. You just push down on that line again and cut again. So this should start pulling up. Apparently I didn't press hard enough, but you do have to put a little bit of elbow grease all the way down, okay? I'm just making sure I cut through that. So see how that starts flipping up? I'm not sure if you can see that. So if you see here, this starts flipping up, okay? And so if you go to this side, this part here will start flipping up on the canvas, all right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm just trying to make sure you guys had seen that in the feed, because mine is a little obviously delayed here. All right. Hey, Susie Brown and Mary. So when I get to the corners, so this should be sufficiently cut through that all the big edges are going to come up, right? So when I get to the corners, this one's a little stuck still. So hold on. A we'll just get this guy unstuck. So when I get to the edges, all I'm going to do is come and make another cut here so that obviously this inner piece is going to be able to come off, but that's not really what I want. So I'm just going to trace right along the staple with my knife, okay? I'm just going to trace right along that and cut right around the staple, and basically voila, you get your canvas that peels off, okay? So we'll do all of this just so that you can see, and then when we get to the actual part of putting things on, we'll go to the canvas and frame that I had already pre-cut and stained. And when I mean pre-done it, I mean like 20 minutes ago. So my stain might be a little wet still. I think I've already done a few lives where my stain was still wet. And one of my Cricut things didn't even work, but no fear to worry on this one, because we are not applying our Cricut to any part of our stained material. So see here, and this one seems to not want to come off. But so you just have to apply a little extra pressure. And again, I'm just going to cut all my corners just to continue to show you. And I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way so you can see. But so again, we're doing a reverse canvas project. So this is something you could totally do at home. You can do this with a silhouette as well, as long as, you know, you can do, you have some kind of cutting machine. You could technically actually do reverse canvases and paint them if you wanted to. And I'm actually going to be trying out doing like a reverse canvas, but kind of putting like actual real pictures on there. So like say, I don't know, you wanted to do like a cute little gift for grandma with the grandkids, or something to give to your parents. Maybe you had a recent wedding, got married. So I'm going to try out a project that, see if we can't get with the, what do you call it? Mod Podge. There's picture Mod Podge. See if I can't get that on. Oh yeah, I know. Stop screaming at me. So here we go. All right, so now I've cut all 4 corners, and this guy is just going to peel off like butter. As long as you have one little strand here. So like butter, look at this. All right, so my canvas is losing its clothes. All right, so this is the back side. You flip it around and you have a frame. Okay, a wooden frame. Now, I wouldn't worry too much about these staples. I just left them right in my project. This one looks like it could have used to have been done a little bit better. So this one I might take out, like if I go to use this in a different project, just because part of the staple is up on the ridge and then the other part is down below. So there's a piece kind of like a, I don't know, less than a 1/4 inch of a space. But these are flush. These staples are all flush. So this one I would probably just take out, put a new one back in there. So this is going to be the front of your frame for your reverse canvas. And this is what we would stain, and I'll show you. Now the back side, all you have to do here, so we'll move this for a second, is I would just go in and pull these, and actually I like to pull it from the thicker side. So you just pull them away from you, and just, I do it like one by one, get your finger really close, and they just pull right up. All right. I mean, you could technically leave this on here, but there's no point in leaving it on. it comes up real easy. Like you don't have to have a ton of hand strength for this because as some of you might know, I don't have a ton of hand strength, so I wouldn't be able to do this if I wouldn't lie to you guys. I'll tell you that. Oh, Rosemary. So again, we'll talk about the show. So the show didn't really go as great as I thought it was going to go. But you know what? Lesson learned. So I'm going to be actually making some shirts on either Printful or Printify to sell, which will actually be similar to the design we're working tonight. And it will be for the local towns around surrounding Dartmouth, like New Bedford, Fairhaven, Westport type area. So when you get your project separated, okay, you're going to have two pieces. A canvas, which this darker tan side is not going to be the side we use. We're going to use this nice white side, okay? So put that aside. We have two of them now, okay? But so I'm just going to show you, like, you can stain this, right? So I don't recommend you guys stain in a closed area like I am been doing right now for the past 45 minutes that I now have, like, foggy brain, it feels like. And I didn't close this can of stain really good, so I'm just being careful to not splatter it all over my computer. So this stain color is by Minwax called Jacko Bean. Jacko Bean, all right? So you can use different things to stain your wood. So I first started off with just a paper towel. You don't need like a ton of materials to do projects. Take a piece of paper towel and you can just start staining your wood, okay? It gives you great coverage. As long as you don't have too many pieces with lots of holes to cover, then you're good. But see, now I've got like a piece over here that's got some rough edging, and it's not rough in the sense that you need to sand it. It's just that it's got some grooves and dips and things. So once I discovered that, I'm trying real hard not to get too much stain on my hands, considering we got to do the next part of this. So, but either way, you can use your paper towel, or what then I ended up having to do was just get a paintbrush type situation. You don't need a big one. A little one will do fine. But in these sections here that had these raised little, or I should say holes, like these little divots, I just went in and just added a little more stain, so that way that would cover completely. And then I just went back in and just gave it a nice brush stroke to make it even across the board. So I'm not going to worry about the fact that this isn't going to be 100% covered right now. This is just to show you what you can do. But then what I would also recommend that you do, since you're going to see this front side and then you're going to see this side right here, I would take some stain or paint, whatever you're going to do. You can leave this natural too. It doesn't matter. You don't have to stain it or paint it. I would just go in here and also stain the insides, okay? Insides would get stained. So here there's a groove where they connected the wood. So I would try and get my paintbrush in there and, you know, try and get as much paint or stain in there. Stain is what I'm using, not paint. Hello. And then don't also forget is the outside of your frame to go ahead and stain that as well, because that for sure you would obviously see. Okay, so again, here's like another groove, so I'm just gonna take my little paintbrush bristles, try to squeeze them on in there, and just get as much coverage as possible. All right, so it's up to you what color you're looking for. If you're looking for a darker wood, then maybe you would get darker than Jacko Bean. If you're looking for a lighter one, there's different stains. If you're looking for natural, then don't stain it at all and don't paint it at all. Okay, so I am getting a real big headache from all this stain in such a small room. So we're going to cover that up. Hey, Anne. Thank you, Teresa. That's all right, Rosemary. You know what? Sorry. I'm going to hammer that down for a second so I don't continue to smell this stuff. Ugh. And then, knowing me, I would pick it by accident. So I got to make sure it's closed. You know, it's okay. It's always lessons learned, and you know what? You try for better at the next show. That's all you can do. You know, you get frustrated and aggravated when in the moment, but there's nothing you can do, really. I mean, I did my best in thinking of new projects to bring with us, and you know, that just wasn't sufficient. So back to the drawing board, and we'll get there. That's all. We can't give up. We just got to keep pushing forward. So here's the one I finished. This is like the cooking show. You put it in the oven, you take it out, and it's baked in 5 seconds. It's kind of still a tiny bit wet, but not too bad. If you ever come into like a real big bind, you can always just take a piece of another paper towel that's dry and try to go over your project and your stain. See how it's still coming out. So it is still wet, but it's not a big deal. Not a big deal. We can work with it. All right. So I'm just trying to take off any extra excess. And so I put down, so I have my cutting mat. Usually I'll have my cutting mat always down below, but I don't want to get stain and whatnot on my cutting mat. So I did put, I have like a roll of like contractor paper that I buy and keep in the garage for projects. So I just cut a strip out, put it across my cutting mat, so that way if things did get on my mat or where I'm working, I can just toss this in the recycle bin after. All right, so our project. Let's move this guy aside for a second. And, oh, I know. You're going to yell at me again. So my heat press is just like, hello, you asked me to get hot, and you're still sitting here not using me. It's okay. We'll show you a little extra love, heat press, and keep pushing your button. So now comes the beautiful part of weeding. So look, kids, it's just a plain black piece of paper, but it's not, okay? No one's ever late. You guys are always on time. I'm usually the one that's late. I was like 5 minutes late again today, and I tried so hard. So I just try and get a piece of like the corner to come up with like this little Cricut pick that I got, and this is basically called a weeding tool. Okay, so see how that starts coming up, and what happens is you can't see it, but there's a clear plastic sheet here. All right, so we're gonna just start pulling up at an angle ever so gently, and so as you see the design starts coming through, and so I try to peel off like the bigger parts first, because I kind of get impatient to like see what's going on, and so I just want to try and peel it off in a way that maybe you guys will see more than if I pull this way, because if I pull that way, you guys are just going to see my arm. So just trying to, so some spots where obviously there's lettering, you might want to just give it a little assistance. All right. Just because sometimes if you pull too hard, you're either just going to rip your iron on, and it's not that you rip it in a bad way, but it's just like you gotta find a little spot to peel it up again. So it's just some gentle pressure. I know obviously this isn't the most fun part to watch, but honestly I find, I don't know how many of you have a Cricut or a Silhouette, or Mel, I know you have a Silhouette, right? I don't know if Mel's still on here. But I find weeding like really relaxing. I know some people like, oh, I don't want to have to weed all that, but I actually I love doing mandala designs, and those require like a lot of attention to detail. I think actually they require a lot of patience too. So this part is the Dartmouth wording. So I'm just trying to, and so actually what I should have done to show you guys, but I think the last time I tried you guys couldn't really see it based on the lighting, is if you have a light board, then this weeding actually becomes 1,000 times easier, especially with darker materials, like a black. If you put it on that light board, which I did go get myself one, and I love it, it just makes your weeding life a whole heck of a lot easier if you do enough Cricut projects. So we are just trying to get some of the anchor parts out here. I have some weeding to do inside the letters. And like I said, I was like, you know what, I should just weed everything and have it ready, but I was like, you know what? Some people actually haven't seen all of it. And so if you have seen this part and you need to use the potty, now is a good potty break. Well, you can keep it on the mat, Mel, for certain things, but I find like when I'm doing like some serious weeding, like with the mandalas, it's so much easier on my light board. Like I did the rooster mandala, and I totally needed the light board. Like I had done one without on the light board and after, and it went twice as fast. But if I do it just like this is fine. So like you can barely see the particle sizes that I'm pulling out of here. And that's why I say like a light board for me is sometimes better with certain things. But this is like a itty bitty baby project, so I didn't find that it was necessary. And I just don't think you guys can really see when I put the light board on, because the light comes through really too bright on camera, and then you can't see what on earth I'm even doing. Alright, so, oh, there's a couple of holes in the anchor. Hold on. Tiny wee bit holes. So I usually just have to turn my head sideways to make sure I didn't miss anything. Alright, so I always keep my clear plastic cover. If I haven't told you guys that, don't throw them out, because that's what's going to save your boards. Let's get all these extra pieces out of the way so they don't accidentally fall on our project and get ironed on. So this is, oh, you're kidding me. How could it have almost cut through the design? I was going to cry for a second. Because I did just everyday iron on, and it looks like my Cricut was a little hungrier than it should have been to eat through my transfer sheet. Maybe it was just that one little section. I guess I haven't used it in so long, it was like, I'm gonna eat through everything. Alright, let's put this puppy away. Here in the design room, we got some small space. So, this is one of our sheets. Oh, and look at that. I got some stain on my sheet. So, good thing we have two. We use this one for something else that we paint. Alright, so what we have to do is figure out, and I'm a little leery of sticking this on there because it is still wet. Let's move this over. But we do have to figure out where the center of our project is going to be. Alright, so let's put this on here. You can always measure things out, but I'm actually just going to stand up and we're just going to move this around. So like I said, I did this design because I'm going to be making shirts for the next show. And they're going to have all the different towns' names in the middle. They haven't decided if they're going to be in color. I think they're all just going to be black and white. So you pretty much want to get squared up where you want your design there. Alright, so I think that's kosher there. Let's move this over ever so slightly just so that it's straight. Alright, so now, okay, I'm going to come over here. I'm going to flatten this out. Try to. And this is just like a pressing sheet. I think some people call it a pressing pillow, pressing sheet. And I do have my heat press on top of my pressing sheet. So let's try this. Okay, so we're going to hit our little Cricut button, apply some pressure, and we're going to do it for 15 seconds. Of course, I had it set to 15, so we'll wait until it gets down to 15 and then take it off. All right. And I think we're going to hit it for a few more seconds. Yeah. All right. Just because you can usually tell, oh, I hope that didn't turn yellow on the inside. No. You can usually tell by the shading between the transfer sheet and the actual material if it's set well enough. So you just kind of want to fan this off a little bit because you don't want to peel it off and burn your fingers. Okay. Kitty has never seen, Kitty, you haven't seen any of this? Oh, Dawn, you're debating on which machine to get? Oh, Linda, don't worry about it. So Mel's definitely going to silhouette, and she wants a maker. Alright, so let's see. Let's pray to the iron-on gods that this worked. Maybe I'll go from this side so you guys can see. And I think our prayers have been answered. So we're just peeling off the same way we would do for weeding, where we're going at an upward angle. Slowly. Yay! Look at that. So this was our built-in transfer sheet, so that iron-on comes with. So that's garbage. Put that one away. First time seeing this. Well, welcome to our little crafty space. All right, so again, so here's our cool design. It says Naughty Beach, Dartmouth. All right, so this was an SVG file. The anchor was an SVG file purchased from an awesome designer on Etsy. And it's definitely, I purchased it with a commercial license, so you just want to make sure whatever you're using it for, if it's personal, you don't really have to worry about it. But I would say if you're wanting to use this design or whatever design you purchase, you want to check with the rights of use in any kind of design that you buy. So sometimes some of them will say, oh, like you get to use it up to 100 times. Or some of them will be like restricted use to, let me make up an example, I guess, to small products, but not to like reproduce more than 200 times. Well, I don't want to track how many times I've used this design, because that's like setting me up for like going into the loony bin. So I definitely always just make sure that anything I'm using has the right commercial licensing, and then we go from there. So that's pretty cool. I love it. So now here is the next fun part. So we're going to try and center this. I get to stand up again. On our frame here. And again, I'm just kind of eyeballing it to try and see if I have pretty good eye here on center. And then you're going to grab the canvas and this frame and flip them over without moving it. Now, I've seen a couple of cool tricks. I don't even know if I actually have any thumbtacks in my drawer. I probably don't. Let me see if I do. But I did see a couple of cool tricks that I wanted to show you. Oh, I do. Cool. Alright. So, if you're afraid of losing your spot, look what you can do. So, actually I'm going to put it where I have my thumbs here. You can put a thumbtack, and then you can press. You want to kind of pull real taut on this, because you know when you have the regular canvas, it's pulled pretty tight that you could basically bounce a penny on there. And so the same thing here. So like you want to maybe put like a push pin on one side. And these are clear push pins, so that doesn't really help. Oh look, I have a blue one. Okay. So, and then you pull tight again. And there you go. So now, if you ever needed to flip it over and double check, if you're good, you're good. Okay? Or you can adjust it before you start stapling. Alright? Any other questions so far? No? Alright, and of course I forgot to take my staple gun out. So, I saw someone else using a really awesome crafty gun that I think I'm going to purchase, because I'm just checking to see. I have a DeWalt, and I think these are 1/4-inch staples in here, but this one was an Arrow that this person was using on YouTube, and it was just smaller, really didn't need to add any pressure, and the staples came out so flush. So I may go buy that. But so all you have to do, and I'm not going to do 1,000 staples in your ears, I'm just going to do 4 to show you. So I can go real close. I'll go on this side so you can see. I'll go real close to my push pin, and this one I'm going to press down. I'm going to be flush, and there we go. Okay, so that's one. Now, what I could do is I'll actually do two sides here on one side here, one side of my frame. All right, so that's flush. And now, if I take this push pin out and the rest of these, I just want to make sure I'm pulling tight. And again, one more staple. I'm not going to do a ton more, just two more. Pulling tight. Okay. And basically I'm getting it to a point that I am doing staples right in the middle of the wood. And you'll be able to tell when you're in the middle of the wood on your own project, okay? So anytime you staple, you want to pull tight right across from where your other staple is and just staple, okay? Sorry about that for all your ears. I'm going to shut this heat press off so it doesn't start yelling at me again. So now you for sure won't lose your project. But what you're going to do is go around the entire thing with staples, okay? And you obviously have staples in here already, so you can kind of feel where the prior ones are still at. So you don't want to staple over the staple that's there. You want to kind of go to the side or wherever, but just feel around. You can feel the staples that were already present so that you're not going right over them. So let me actually, what I just thought of is, let me do one full side because I want to show you then what you do with all this excess, okay? All right. So I think we're good there. All right, so then you can come back in. So say you've done all your staples on all your sides. So then you can come back in, and I've seen it one of two ways. One of two ways, which is A, you can come back in, flip it over, and go kind of get your knife underneath the edge of your frame and go straight down and cut this. Again, I do have a cutting mat underneath my paper here, so please don't do this on like your dining room table without a cutting mat underneath, or you may just end up crying afterwards that your dining room table has a big old knife cut in it. Alright, so I've seen it done this way because see, voila, and you have a nice flush basically mat covering the back. Or I've seen it also done where you can come right back in and cut right up against the staples. But the thing with that is if you haven't stained the back of your wood, which I did not, you're going to have some of your unstained wood exposed, and that's totally up to you. You could still do this, and you could also buy basically like frame backing, like that stuff that looks like really thin, what do you call it? Like paper bag material. So you could buy that to cover the backing if you decided to cut up along against the staples. But I find this works pretty great, and you already have the backing covered and you don't have to worry about it, okay? So I'm not going to cut the complete thing off yet because for me, I have not stapled all my edges completely, and it's going to just be harder for me to pull up. I know some people might say, oh, well, there's a little lip here. If you ever wanted to, you could hit that with some glue, tiny bit of glue, just like on the edges, and just to keep that down. This should be a project that is kept on the inside of your house, not on the outside, so that the glue doesn't melt in extreme heat. But basically, once we cut all the edges off, look how adorable that looks. And so you could put any kind of saying, or just put a piece of iron on there. You could put any kind of saying, you could put any kind of SVG file. If you had your logo for your business that you wanted to advertise and grab a bigger canvas, you could do that at a show. So you have a ton of things that you could do with this. Do you have to do anything to the corners? So no, not really. So because all you're going to do to the corners, Mel, see here? So I just kind of, with my staple gun, all I did was get a little bit angled to cover the corner. And I could actually add another one here. So I could go up a little bit more because the staple was up pretty high. I could just go in there, which I moved it over by the time I stapled it. And I'll probably take that out and move it over more. But the corners would be just the same thing, just to hold down the corner. And if you wanted to, you could hit it with a little bit of glue so this flap doesn't come up any. So it's totally up to you. Thinking about is just time saving. You don't want to do too much extra if this is going to be a project, you know, that you're just giving as a gift, or that you're looking for some more cost-effective products to sell. This is totally something that you could do pretty quickly. Obviously, I chose to stain this one, but if I had done chalk paint, I could chalk paint this in like minutes, and it would have been dry already. So obviously, this stain is going to just take a little bit extra to dry, and I'll put it outside actually in the garage because this is stinking and my head is dying in here. I actually think I'm going to open up the window. Actually, I should do that right now. While I'm talking, just so that I don't pass out in here. But it's totally something that you could... Oh, it's pouring rain outside. We won't open the window too much. So this isn't something that you have to spend a ton of time on. You could do a ton of these projects right away. I would just be careful of all the intricate details if this is a thing that you're looking to resell, on how much time you're spending weeding your iron on, so that way you can get the most out of it. But if it's for a loved one and you just want to do this as a gift, go ahead and, you know, have at it. Maybe you want a mandala and, you know, you want to really dress it up with a really intricate design. It's your project, you decide. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Awesome. So I'm glad you like it. And again, I'm actually going to probably be making these into t-shirts for the next show, which hopefully maybe would be a better product to sell based on the things that I've seen. And again, sometimes it's just trial and error. You got to learn from things that happen from one show to another. And again, so this just says Naughty Beach. It says the name of our town, which is Dartmouth. I don't think I'm going to be making them in any different colors because, again, I want to keep this simple. I want to keep it efficient. And I think that's what we're going to go with. Maybe you guys can see if I put it up a little bit closer. So, but again, so we're going to cut off all the corners. I'm going to actually staple every single side here, but that was just to show you. And then it will be flush, just like this side, that you won't see any of these things hanging off. Okay? Any questions? Thank you, Mel. So again, you guys have limitless things that you could do with this kind of project. And you can actually do this with your kids. If you wanted to do like an SVG file with Mickey Mouse, and maybe it's your first time that you're going to be going to Disney World, you could make a sign, you know, that is like, hey, we're going to Disney, or my first time at Disney, or, you know, anything like that. And they have character SVGs if you're going to be using this for personal use. So let me try and zoom you guys back out here. Maybe if I can find my mouse somewhere. Let's see if that works. Oh goodness, my mouse keeps moving. Stop, 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 stop. All right. Oh my god, my mouse. Okay, let's try that. We're gonna get you guys dizzy. It's going like the wrong way. It's like I have my hands off my mouse and it's moving the wrong direction. Ah, look, I got you guys back. Okay. Alright, so that's it that I got for you guys. That was my Makeup Monday. Makeup Monday on Tuesday. And I don't know what we'll have Thursday yet. I don't know. Time will tell what I figure out. There's plenty of projects to do. I just don't know which one I feel like doing. I'm hopefully actually will have a fall project with some of the awesome retail stuff that I got. So actually, let me give you guys a sneak peek. Sneak peek at all the awesomeness that is going on in here. So, for any of you ribbon hoarders or lovers, take a look. Hold on, let me move this out of the way. I don't want to get stain on my ribbon. Take a look at this awesomeness. Oh! This is like heaven. Can you guys see that? So, these are going to be coming soon. Soon to a Facebook page near you, like mine. Aren't these freaking awesome? I love them. Fall ribbon. Mel, I'll talk to you offline. I'll let you know. So these are my new friends. But I'm gonna have these available to you guys if you want any. So we're gonna start doing some different resale, but this was, again, so this tonight was about a tutorial, but I just wanted to let you know about the awesomeness coming, and there's more awesomeness that arrived at my house. So I'm super excited for you guys, but tonight, and actually tonight's project is to finish up my YouTube channel. Finishing up my YouTube channel to get some content on there. This will be definitely a tutorial I'm putting up there. And hopefully I will be seeing you guys on YouTube in the near future as well. Alright? So, Mel, I will shoot you a message, and if you guys ever have any questions, you guys can definitely rewatch a replay of this on YouTube. I'll be uploading it tonight, and don't ask me what time, but it will be tonight, hopefully, or maybe in the wee hours of the morning. I'll see you guys soon. All right, everyone have a great week. If I see you on Thursday, hope so. Peace. See you soon. Bye.